Next, I'll invite Martha Baker to speak. So Martha is the Global Director of Carbon Markets for Alltech, focusing on advancing sustainable agriculture through carbon market strategies. She leads efforts to reduce enteric methane emissions in livestock, partnering with farmers to implement solutions that lower carbon footprints. Martha's work helps farmers unlock new revenue streams while promoting environmental sustainability in the agricultural sector.
Thanks, Claire, and thanks to Joe for the invitation to be here today. I want to start by saying that Alltech does not own or manage carbon projects, and we have a product that was actually it was a company that was purchased about 2 years ago, or majority ownership, that in about 50% of the markets that it's registered in, it is registered as a methane mitigant, and in the other 50%, it is registered as a flavor agent. So what I do, and this is the question that a lot of people have, is so why does this role with Alltech even exist? And it's really simple, because we want to be in a place where we can help those who use our product be educated about what their options are, understand the implications of them, and how they can leverage those options to the greatest. So with that, what I really want to do is share a little bit about Alltech and what our larger strategy is, and I think it will help you understand why I do what I do. You know, in some worlds, we're a large company. In other worlds, we're still a medium-sized company. But as a privately owned organization, we are we really span the range from specialty products to biologicals, depending on the market we're in, and it really gives us the ability to get to that end user and support that end user in various ways. We are the largest producer of yeast for the animal industry globally. We're the second largest feed producer in the U.S. We're the fourth largest in the U.S. Or second largest in Canada, fourth largest in the U.S., and the top 10 in Brazil. Then in other markets, we work more as just a feed additive company and partner with other organizations. The real point of this slide, because it's a super busy slide, is we have been in decarbonization for a long time, and we are prepared and we are working at various points in that. So we are actually have, and Susanna, my colleague, was on earlier. I noticed that we were using a couple of the same slides, but our vision is working together for a planet of plenty. With that, we have some Planet of Plenty partners where we have been working in decarbonization with the likes of Noble Foods out of the UK to get to their carbon neutral eggs, which they're the largest supplier in the UK. And we actually have a carbon footprinting tool, which is ECO2, that gives them metrics. It's always about measurement, right? Whenever we make change, we have to be able to measure that and quantify it. And that's what ECO2 does. And we work with that within the chain with Noble Foods, with CoVAP on their swine side, and there are many others. Just a couple examples. I like to say that Alltech was into sustainability before the cool kids hung out there. And it really goes back to the founder and his ACE principle, which everything we do has to be good for the animal, the consumer, and the environment. So in the mid-'80s, whenever he was saying that, it was not well received. Matter of fact, people thought he was kind of crazy. As it turns out, the principles that he founded the company on are exactly where we're at today. So we are committed to safe, effective solutions with long-term benefits. Everything that we do, if it does not drive profitability at the farm gate first, while it might be sound in many ways, it's not a solution that we're pursuing. So we're really taking a different approach than some in this space. We are globally positioned. I think this might be a little bit dated. We're a little closer to 6,000 team members, over 40,000 customers, and we're working in over 140 countries. We tend to do business where it's difficult to do business, and this was also something that the founder was very, very passionate about. Recently, we did a review of the number of publications, and we go through and do this frequently. In 23, there was over 120 peer-reviewed publications, including master's thesis, PhD dissertations, and many others. This is globally. It was also done in partnerships with other organizations where we were supporting and other universities. We do believe that collaborating across the scientific chain is extremely important. It really brings a lot more rigor to our science and a lot more competence within the marketplace. One thing that I did want to share, and we say breaking news because we just announced this internally about 2 weeks ago. We are known for being very, very solid on a benchtop science and in the lab standpoint. Recently, we have made an agreement with Bateman Mosita Dairy in Utah. It's a 10,000 cow dairy, one of the most relevant in the US in the sense of making 100 pounds of energy-corrected milk every single day. And we have a long-term agreement to be able to go from benchtop to application so that we can accelerate our advances on the animal side in a very significant way. We will be partnering and have an advisory board with universities because we intend to publish and continue our work in a very deliberate and relevant manner. We talked a whole lot about methane. I've heard just before this panel talking about will nitrogen be next. We're really looking at the entirety of our chain. So, renewable energies, greenhouse gases, we've been talking about that. Nitrogen with manure, we've been talking about that. But it's also about data and having a means of measurement. So that we're also very committed to our ECO2 business and expanding that out so that we have those tools. And as Susanna had mentioned, we do believe that agriculture has the greatest potential to positively impact our planet. So we're really working in this space where soil and plant health overlaps environmental health, human health, and animal health. It all comes back to economics again. If we're doing all of those things, we're driving the local economies. ESG, that S is super important. And we really don't believe we can advance the environmental part unless we're also paying keen attention to the social part. Thank you, Claire.
Thank you, Martha.